Hello everyone, today I have a loop pedal with me. This is the Ditto Looper. If you've been following me for a while, you've definitely seen this before. I kind of forgot about it for a long time, but recently I've been having a lot of fun with it. I just create my own loops in the middle of the night and jam on my own. It's a nice little hobby. But also, on a serious note, it's actually a really great improvisational tool. I don't quite like it to use as a performance tool or something to create compositions with. There was a point I did try, but I haven't yet found really creative angles. I want to say maybe it's just the one loop setting that I have, but still, I just get kind of bored with it compositionally sometimes. But not to get sidetracked, this is the loop. So a very simple chord progression. Going from D minor, B flat major, D minor, E flat major. Actually, I should clarify that. It's not quite triadic like that. I hear it more as this, which you can describe it as D minor, B flat, D minor, E flat. But to me, the sounds are kind of open. So there are pitches that I kind of avoid as I am improvising on top. For example, if I were to think of it triadically, if that makes sense. So here, I mean, that kind of sounds fine. It sounds a little spunky though, here. So D minor, E flat major. If I think E flat major and focus on these three pitches, it just doesn't sound as right. So anyway, it's just to say that a lot of times I actually avoid using the E flat pitch there because it's really more so for the bass, and I don't want it to become part of the, I guess, the DNA of the lines on top. Okay, let's talk about something specific. You may be familiar with this line. It's one of my warm-ups in 2-5-1. So the chords are 2-5-1. Different from this loop, but you can adjust certain things to fit this chord progression. And I would say the key to doing something like this is blurring the lines and just softening the structure of it. So, of course, if you look at it very closely, it's outlining a major 6-4 position with an octave, and then it's rising up a tone and coming down a major 6-4 position and sort of turning around to meet the corner. So there are several ways that you can just take this concept. You can look at the shape. It goes down. So it's like this little scoop. This would have the same shape. Same as that. Or you can look at the 6-4 position, maybe in this context. Translate it into a minor chord. Something like that. So that's really, really being loose with that connection, but you get the point. Okay, so let's move on to another pattern. Let's say the infamous Opus 10 number 1, of course. So I change it in various ways. Okay, so the pattern is really simple. All you have is 4 pitches. You can really be creative with it. And all that's happening is that you are repeating those 4 pitches up an octave again and again, and vice versa. All that you need to make sure of is that the whole stretch is beyond an octave, because let's say you have these 4 pitches, it doesn't work because then there's no interlocking point. Okay, so anyway. So that was a little rough, but there's something that I thought of while doing this. So if you were to just take a straight fixed pattern, so technically all of those pitches work with the chords, but again, yeah, it's pretty, but it's not that interesting because it's very predictable. So what I like to do is switch it up. Maybe even if I repeat it twice like this, change it up. Whoops, not that. Something like that, maybe. Again, like the original form, as long as you span more than an octave, or even if you don't actually, something like that, it's less than an octave here, F to E, but you have that interlocking point. So let me backtrack and just say that as long as you have an interlocking point where the highest pitch dips down somewhere, I like to use either a step down or 2 steps. I guess it doesn't matter. It could be larger than that, but as long as that interlocking point exists, it sounds more or less like this pattern, and you're keeping that concept in mind. So it's just a loose structure again to fit your ideas under or over, around. Okay, so you may also recognize that I shared a while ago. It may be slightly different, but I think it was like this. An exercise where you're just repeating this pattern downwards. So again, same concept. I think after a certain point, this gets kind of old, so you can add in additional bass lines, bass notes. So I'm not going to actually loop that in, but you get the point. Maybe that's a topic for another video, but basically this is what I like to do in my spare time. A lot of times just to relax and also just work on some ideas. All right, so I will leave this loop on for a little longer, so those of you who would like to try improvising on top of it can. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy this type of video. It helps me tremendously to get your feedback because the Patreon pool is quite mixed in terms of people wanting certain content or not. It's really hard to tell sometimes and cater to everyone, so as video ideas come along, I just do my best to finish certain ones and put them out to you, but it really helps to know which ones are more helpful or enjoyable for you all. So please let me know, and I will see you very soon.